Hey y'all, and welcome to the last of May, beginning of June, new releases. So some of them are coming out on Tuesday, so end of May, and then some of them are coming out on the 1st of June, Thursday, which is different. And this list actually evolved into quite an interesting one because I thought I only had like a few and I was like, oh, so short. And then I kept finding more. So it really is quite interesting. I hope you enjoy it. There will be timestamps for the different genres, though fantasy is going to be the big one this week. Again, thank you so much for being here. I'm Morgan, and I hope you enjoy it. Starting off with fantasy, we have The Witch King by Martha Wells. After being murdered, his consciousness dormant and unaware of the passing of time while confined in an elaborate water trap, Kai wakes to find a lesser mage attempting to harness Kai's magic to his own advantage, and that was never going to go well. But why was Kai imprisoned in the first place? What has changed in the world since his assassination? And why does the Rising World Coalition appear to be growing in influence? Kai will need to pull his allies close and draw on his own pain magic if he is to answer at least even the least of these questions. And he's not going to like the answers. I know it says it's her first new fantasy in over a decade, but I was pretty sure that this was the first full-length novels. Might have misheard that. Move that. Pen always makes the screen go funny. Then we have The Abandoned Realm by Brittany Hassan. And this one, is the concept of it just sounds so interesting. And it sounds like an anime whose name I no longer remember. But like if you've seen it, you'll agree that it does sound a lot like that one. When a writer abandons a story, the hero is ripped from the existence the author created and sentenced to the abandoned realm. With less people believing in the power and magic of fiction, the real world and the abandoned realm are slowly poisoned as the boundary between them weakens. A vengeful hero-turned-villain exploits the boundary's weakness to make a portal, flooding San Francisco with bloodthirsty monsters and dark magic. Bex, a failed writer, and her resentful, unfinished character hold the key to resealing the portal. Their inner demons, as well as those attacking the city, must all be defeated to close the portal before time runs out. And it says it's for adults who grew up loving Percy Jackson, Inkheart, and the Raven Cycle series. Fans of Dungeons & Dragons and other RPGs, fan fiction, and those who love stories where the fantasy world blends with the real one, you will enjoy The Abandoned Realm. Like it does. It sounds fun. It really does. This next one is probably going to be like award-winning and stuff. It has the sound of it. The name of it is Ink Blood Sister Scribe by Emma Torres. It's got the dots. In the spellbinding debut novel, two estranged half-sisters tasked with guarding their family's library of magical books must work together to unravel a deadly secret at the heart of their collection, a tale of familial loyalty and betrayal in the pursuit of magic and power. For generations, the Calote family has guarded a collection of ancient and rare books that let a person walk through walls or manipulate the elements, books of magic that half-sisters Joanna and Esther have been raised to revere and protect. All magic comes with a price, though, and for years the sisters have been separated. Esther has fled to a remote base in Antarctica to escape the fate that killed her own mother, and Joanna's isolated herself in their family home in Vermont, devoting her life to the study of these cherished volumes. But after their father dies suddenly while reading a book Joanna has never seen before, the sisters must reunite to preserve their family legacy. In the process, they'll uncover a world of magic far bigger and more dangerous than they ever imagined, and all the secrets their parents kept hidden, secrets that span centuries, continents, and even other libraries. So I feel like it's got a lot of things that people are going to love, and like, yes. Now we'll move into the YA fantasy. I really thought I had a sci-fi, but I guess not. And this is going to be the next one in the Crave series called Cherish by Tracy Wolff. So this is the 6th one in that series. This one apparently has to do with academia and vampires. My whole world changed when I stepped inside the academy. Nothing is right about the place or the other students in it. Here I am, a mere mortal among gods or monsters. I still can't decide which of these warring factions I belong to, if I belong at all. I only know the one thing that unites them is their hatred of me. So, I know... Okay, that's from the first book, but I do know that this has more than vampires. I think that also something about dragons and gargoyles. I mean, I think it has a lot of fantasy creatures, and of course, being the 6th one, and all of them start with C. That seems to be the running theme of the book, and one of the descriptions listed it as Twilight for the new generation. I don't know. Haven't read it. I almost want to. It's like one of those guilty pleasure type reads. I don't know. The next book, though, is going to be The Threads That Bind by Kia Hetzepoulou. I'm very sorry that I mispronounced that name. The cover for this one is beautiful, though. Like the color schemes and the artwork that was done, beautiful. Let's see. The descendants of the Fates are always born in threes. One to weave, one to draw, and one to cut the threads that connect people to the things they love and to life itself. The Aura sisters are no exception. Io, the youngest, uses her fate-born abilities as a private investigator in the half-sunken city of Alante. But her latest job leads her to a horrific discovery. Somebody is abducting women, maiming their life threads, and setting the resulting wraiths loose in the city to kill. To find the culprit, she must work alongside Edea Rana, the right hand of the infamous mob queen, and the boy with whom she shares a rare fate thread linking them as soulmates before they've even met. The investigation turns personal when Io's estranged oldest sister shows up on the arm of her best suspect. Amid unveiled secrets from her past and her growing feelings for Indy, Io must follow clues through the city's darkest corners and unearth a conspiracy that involves some of the city's most powerful players before destruction comes to her own doorstep. So we have, Greek mythology a little bit, but redone, sounds modern-y. And its own unique story there. I like that we're dealing with the descendants of the Fates into nowadays. It sounds promising. Next one is another YA fantasy. I'd heard about it a while ago. I wished I could get the art because the cover was awesome and the description was cool. It's Where the Lightning Goes by Jackery Salem. After a powerful wizard tears Ellie's soul apart and steals her memories, she's locked in a house to rot. Her only remaining memory is of falling from the sky, though even that raises more questions than it answers. Upon her escape, she falls into a world that's equal parts vicious and beautiful. Magic is everywhere, everyone is out for themselves, and every truth is accompanied by a lie. Her lack of memories grows maddening and painful. She is positive that the key to recovering her memories is in the sky castle from her dreams, but getting there will require magic she doesn't have. Traversing an enchanted painting, stealing a sword from a dragon's den, and outwitting a demon are only the beginning. And this time, she's got more than freedom and memories on the line. Without magic, there is no survival. This next one is the first in a planned quartet, I guess, because the author already has names for all the books. It's called In the Eye of the Crow by A.H. Anderson. Let's see. Based off the description, I was a little confused that it was in the YA fantasy, because it sounds like we're following her as she's a little older. I don't know. As a girl, she was a bridge. As a queen, she's a hammer. With her marriage mending the ancient divide between elves and humans, Nara Crawford knows a thing or two about political prowess. From the moment the queen's crown touched her head, Nara learned she had to be willing to sacrifice everything for the good of her kingdom. Now unrest is brewing in Lahan, despite her uncle's claim that the enemy lies in the rival land of Grund. Nara feels the real threat lurks within her own family. When her eldest daughter, Princess Alea, disappears from her chambers, Nara struggles to hold onto her inheritance as traitors step out of the shadows and reveal themselves as some of her closest allies. It says it's for fans of Folk of the Air and Lord of the Rings. It says it's supposed to be an immersive fantasy tale. Hello, Kitty. Now we have a YA sci-fi called Divinity 36. It's a Tinkered Starsong Book 1 by Gail Keringer. The aliens are coming for us and they want our voices. Fex is a barista on a forgotten moon, which is fine. He likes being ignored and he's good at making drinks. Until one day, an alien hears him singing and recruits him to become a god. Now, Finks is thrust headfirst into the galaxy's most cutthroat entertainment industry, where music is visible and the price of fame can kill. And the only friends he has want to be worshipped. Welcome to the Divinity, where there is no difference between celebrity and religion, love and belief, acolyte and alien, where the right kind of obsession can drive a person crazy or turn them to divine. Now we have a romance book. It's a second chance type of romance, but it sounds funny, maybe? I don't know if that's the right word for it, but it's called Once More with Feeling by Alyssa Salzman. Then, Katie Rose is living the dream as America's #1 pop star, caught in a whirlwind of sold-out concerts, screaming fans, and constant tabloid coverage. Everyone wants to know everything about her and her boyfriend, Ryan Leneve, the hottest member of the adored boy band Crush Zone. Katie loves to perform but hates the impossible demands of stardom. Maybe that's why she finds herself in the arms of another Crush Zone member, Cal Kirby. Quiet, serious Cal, who's always been a good friend to Katie, is suddenly Cal with the smoldering eyes and very good hands. One unforgettable night is all it takes to blow up Katie's relationship with Ryan, her career, her whole life. Now, Kathleen Rosenberg is okay with her ordinary existence and leaving her pop star image in the past. That is, until Cal Kirby shows up with the opportunity of her dreams. A starring role in the Broadway show he's directing and the chance to perform the way she's always wanted. The two haven't spoken since the joint destruction of their careers, and each of them blames the other, making their reunion a tense battle of wits and egos. Kathleen reluctantly agrees to the musical as long as she keeps her guard up around Cal. But rehearsals are long, those eyes still smolder, and those hands are still very good. Despite everything, Kathleen can't deny the chemistry between them. Is it ever a good idea to reignite old flames, especially if you've been burned in the past? I also feel that one might make a movie. Hopefully the story comes out good. It could do that. I have several people in mind that I think would fit that part. Even just reading the description, I'm picturing people that fit that part. Now we have a crime thriller called Killing Moon. This is technically the 13th in the series, but the description, it didn't seem, at least from the description, I'll give the description of this actual one, it didn't seem like it gave away much of what's already happened in the series, which is interesting and unusual. The name of the series, though, yeah, it's the detective's name, so there's that. And it's by Joe Nesbo. It's a translated work. It's Scandinavian. It's called the Harry Hole series because it's Detective Harry Hole. Yep, we're going to move on. The hunt is on and the police are running out of time. 2 young women are missing. Their only connection, a party they both attended, hosted by a notorious real estate magnate. When one of the women is found murdered, the police discover an unusual signature left by the killer, giving them reason to suspect he will strike again. They're facing a killer unlike any other, and exposing him calls for a detective like no other. But the legendary Harry Hole is gone. Drinking himself into oblivion in Los Angeles, it seems that nothing can entice him back to Oslo, until the woman who saved Harry's life is put in grave danger, and he has no choice but to return to the city that haunts him and track down the murderer. Catching him will push Harry to the limit. He'll need to bring together a misfit team of former operatives to accomplish what he can't do alone. Stop an unstoppable killer. But as the evidence mounts, it becomes clear that there is more to the case than meets the eye. So while there probably will be aspects that, relate to the earlier books in the series, it also sounds, like you could just grab this one. Then we have more of a historical mystery. Then this might be kind of out of order. Oh well. The Benevolent Society of the Ill-Mannered Ladies by Alison Goodman. Lady Augusta Colebrook, Gus, is determinedly unmarried, bored by society life, and tired of being dismissed at the age of 42. She and her twin sister Julia, who is grieving her dead betrothed, need a distraction. One soon presents itself, to rescue their friend's goddaughter, Caroline, from her violent husband. The sisters set out to Caroline's country estate with a plan, but their carriage is accosted by a highwayman. In the scuffle, Gus accidentally shoots and injures the rifleman, only to discover that it is Lord Evan Belfort, an acquaintance from their past who is charged with murder and exiled to Australia 20 years ago. What follows is a high adventure full of danger, clever improvisation, heart-racing near misses, and little help from a revived and rather charming Lord Evan. Back in London, Gus can't stop thinking about her unlikely, not to mention handsome, comrade in arms. She is convinced Lord Evan was falsely accused of murder, and she is going to prove it. She persuades Julia to join her on her quest to help Lord Evan and others in need, society be darned. And so begins the beguiling secret life and adventures of the Colebrook twins. And now we have a suspense called Drowning by T.J. Newman. This is the second of the author's books, I think, but they're not connected. 6 minutes after takeoff, Flight 1421 crashes into the Pacific Ocean. During the evacuation, an engine explodes and the plane is flooded. Those still alive are forced to close the doors, but it's too late. The plane sinks to the bottom with 12 passengers trapped inside. More than 200 feet below the surface, engineer Will Kent and his 11-year-old daughter Shannon are waist deep in water and fighting for their lives. Their only chance at survival is an elite rescue team on the surface led by a professional diver, Chris Kent, Shannon's mother and Will's soon-to-be ex-wife, who must work together with Will to find a way to save their daughter and rescue the passengers from the sealed airplane, which is now teetering on the edge of an undersea cliff. There's not much time. There's even less air. Our next one is fiction, also kind of suspense, It's called Beware the Woman by Megan Abbott. Honey, I just want you to have everything you ever wanted. That's what JC's mom always told her, and JC felt like she finally did. Newly married and with a baby on the way, JC and her new husband Jed embark on their first road trip together to visit his father, Dr. Ash, in Michigan's far-flung Upper Peninsula. The moment they arrive at the cottage snug within the lush woods, JC feels bathed in love by the warmth and hospitable Dr. Ash, if less so by his house manager, the enigmatic Mrs. Brandt. But their Edenic first days take a turn when JC has a health scare. Swiftly, vacation activities are scrapped, and all eyes are on JC's condition. Suddenly, whispers about Jed's long-dead mother and complicated family history seem to be eerily impinge upon the present. JC begins to feel trapped in the cottage, her every move surveilled, her body under the looking glass. But are her fears founded, or is it paranoia, or cabin fever, or, as is suggested to her, a stubborn refusal to take necessary precautions? The dense woods surrounding the cottage are full of dangers, and there are greater ones. But are there greater ones inside? So the review for this, there was only like the one, said that it made the reviewer reminiscent, and it felt reminiscent to The Yellow Wallpaper, the short story, if any of you have read it, which is a trip. It is a trip, so it's more of a, you need to read between the lines of what's going on to figure out what's going on. Next, we have another regular fiction, and it's called The Wishing Game by Meg Schaefer. Lucy Hart knows better than anyone what it's like to grow up without parents who never loved her. In a childhood marked by neglect and loneliness, Lucy found her solace in books, namely the Clock Island series by Jack Masterson. Now, a 26-year-old teacher's aide, she is able to share her love of reading with bright young students, especially 7-year-old Christopher Lamb, who was left orphaned after the tragic death of his parents. Lucy would give anything to adopt Christopher, but even the idea of becoming family seems like an impossible dream without proper funds and stability. Be careful what you wish for. Just when Lucy is about to give up, Jack Masterson announces he's finally written a new book. Even better, he's holding a contest at his home on the real Clock Island, and Lucy is one of the 4 lucky contestants chosen to compete to win the one and only copy. For Lucy, the chance of winning the most sought-after book in the world means everything to her and Christopher. But first, she must contend with ruthless book collectors, wily opponents, and the distractingly handsome and grumpy Hugo Reese, the illustrator of the Clock Island books. Meanwhile, Jack, the mastermind, Masterson, is plotting the ultimate twist ending that could change their lives forever. And it just says you just might get it to go with, to be careful what you wish for. And our last book of the week is kind of a coming of age, but like middle age coming of age thing. It's called The Celebritants by Stephen Rowley. It's been a minute, or 5 years, since Jordan Vargas last saw his college friends, and 28 years since their graduation when their adult lives officially began. Now, Jordan, Jordy, Naomi, Craig, and Marielle find themselves at the brink of a new decade, with all the responsibilities of adulthood, yet no closer to having their lives figured out, though not for lack of trying. Over the years, they've reunited in Big Sur to honor a decades-old pact to throw each other living funerals, celebrations to remind themselves that life is worth living, that their lives mean something to one another if not themselves. But this reunion is different. They're not gathered as they were to bolster Marielle as her marriage crumbled, to lift Naomi after her parents died, or to intervene when Craig pleaded guilty to art fraud. This time, Jordan is sitting on a secret that will upend their pact. That's all for this week's list. Maybe you found something new and exciting to go pick up, or found out about a continuing series you just didn't know was coming out yet. If you enjoyed this and you'd like to check out more of my content, I have an unboxing video for the Unplugged May box that just came out, and there's always the weekly new releases videos, unboxings, vlogs, reviews. If you're enjoying my content, please consider subscribing and coming back for any of these. Thank you guys so much for being here. I hope you're finding something awesome to read today, and I'll see you later. Bye!